Today we're going to review factoring by decomposition. So you have a paper copy of the notes of this, as well as it's all in OneNote if you want to go back and reference, but I just want to give you a couple more examples. So I've listed out here for you on the left-hand side the steps that you frankly just have to memorize, but this process is a lot easier than using inspection. So step one is you multiply our A term and our C term. Make sure you watch for the signs on these. So I have, in this case, 5 times 1 gives me 5. Now I need to find two numbers that I can multiply to equal that 5, and the same two numbers that will add to your B term, which in this case is 6. These numbers that you're selecting occasionally could be the two you multiplied, but often won't be. In this case, they are. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. So now you're going to rewrite our x term, so that's the b term, using those two. So 5x squared, I'm just rewriting, plus 5x plus 1x plus 1. So 5x plus 1 came from these two numbers over here. Your check, 5 plus 1 adds to 6. So now you're going to factor by grouping. When you write down your 5x and your 1, write it down in the way that's going to give you the greatest common factor with your two outside terms. So here, for example, I have 5x squared and 5x. Well, 5x is common in both of those, leaving me with an x plus 1. I have x plus 1, so here I'm going to factor out just a 1. Now, this is the step that gives you a nice little check. If you did this correctly, you're going to have two of the same two factors. In this case, x plus 1. So I'm going to factor that out. The remaining two numbers are what become our second set of brackets. Now this is fully factored. So let's do another one. Remember, still at play, your first thought should always be greatest common factor. Is there a number that goes into my A, B, and C terms? If not, then you'll proceed. So here, there's not, so I'm going to go 2 times 6 gives us 12. So now I need to find two numbers that multiply to 12 and add to equal this B term, which is 7. So in this case, we're going to use 3 times 4 and 3 plus 4. So now I'm going to rewrite my middle term. So I get 2x squared. I'm going to write plus 4x first because 2 is common in both of those. Plus 3x plus 6. Pause, do your check. 4x plus 3x, yes, that adds to 7. Now we're going to factor by grouping. Greatest common factor with the first two is 2x. Greatest common factor between my last two is 3. We did it correct. We have the same two numbers. Those two I factor out. My remainders fill in my second set of brackets. Done. Last example. This one's a little bit bigger. First thought, is there a greatest common factor? No. So then I'm going to multiply. 3 times 8 gives us 24. So I need two numbers that are going to multiply to equal 24 and add to equal 14. What might be helpful for you on questions like this, if you're getting stumped and nothing pops out right away, start listing them. So we always know 1 goes into every number. This is even, so 2 is going to go into 24, so 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. So if you list them out, you now have a set list to go through and try. From here I can see, oh, 2 times 12 gives us 24, 2 plus 12 gives us 14. So from here, I'm going to write them out. So I'm going to have 3x squared plus 12x, because 3 goes into both of those, plus 2x plus 8, and 2 goes into both of those. So now factor by grouping. You can factor out a 2. So x plus 4 is common in both of those. So x plus 4 gets factored out and leaves me with 3x plus 2. It's really important too that you pause here and check is this a difference of squares? In this example, no, it's not, but it could have been if it was an x squared minus 4, then you would actually take this a step further to remember difference of squares. Okay, that's also in your notes. So notice all three examples, I've actually shown quite a bit of work here. So your work that you're needing to show in your assignment is going to be similar, if not identical, to this amount. So to the side, I've written out all my steps here. I've shown how I'm plugging it in, and I've shown my factor by grouping. So with all of this work is how I can check that you're doing your work, so you need to make sure you're showing as much as possible. There's lots of videos on YouTube in addition to this one that you can watch, so please go through it. You can also watch all the other videos I have posted from class, like me going over these notes here. You can just find that via ManageBack as well.